The Federal Executive Council has approved the amendment of Nigerian labor laws to bring them to the standard of international laws and statutes. Briefing correspondents after the council meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Ige explained that the International Labour Organization had pointed out that Nigeria needs to bring its laws to be concurrent with international labour standards, conventions and principles. Our correspondent Sidi Okafo has more details in this report.
With less than 40 days to the end of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, ministers at the federal government has granted approval for a number of multi-billion naira contracts for several projects across the country in a bid to facilitate job creation and stimulate the economy. The federal government has approved Phase 2 of the Electronic Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund, which will enable concessionary to upgrade the infrastructure for 15 billion naira. Minister of Labour and Employment, who made the disclosure, added that the council granted approval for the amendment of obsolete laws in line with the International Labour Organization standard.
The first memorandum was for the approval, to seek council's approval for us to amend the labor laws of the country. The labor laws of the country, as presently being operated, are really obsolete laws. And the ILO had pointed that out, that we need to bring our laws to be concurrent with international labor standards and conventions and principles at work.
On his part, the Minister of State, Budget and National Planning said the council approved the Nigerian Customs Service Modernization Project, also known as e-Custom, despite a court injunction restraining the federal government from going on with the initiative. He also announced award of a contract for the procurement of a concessionary caravan aircraft by the Nigerian Customs.
This is the approval for the award of contract for the procurement of one number Cessna Caravan aircraft AX208B by the Nigerian Customs. And this was in favor of Messrs. Worldwide Skypath Services Limited in conjunction with Africa Inc., the authorized distributor of Cessna aircraft in Africa. And it's in the sum of 3,447,442,710 naira, inclusive of 7.5% VAT.
The sum of 1.5 trillion naira has been approved for the construction and rehabilitation of 11 roads across the country, which will be enabled under Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) tax credit scheme. Speaking on Wednesday after the council meeting, Babatunde Fashola, the Minister of Works and Housing, said over 1.5 trillion would be spent on some major roads in Nigeria, totaling over 700 kilometers, linking 11 states.
You will recall that in January this year, I presented a memo that Council approved for NNPC to invest 1.9 trillion in our roads. In that 1.9 trillion, there were then about 44 roads that had been awarded. They were under contract. So that was done. So the balance of that 1.9 trillion, so it's not a new one. The balance of that 1.9 trillion, roads that had not then been awarded, that had to go through procurement between that January and now, which has now been completed, are these 11 that have now been approved by Council under that global figure.
For the educational sector, the council acknowledged the need for the construction and furnishing of a Senate building at the Federal University of Health Science in Ilaro, Orogun, Osun State. The state minister added that the university is a specialized institution and funding this project will be allocated from test funds amounting 3 billion naira. Sydney Okafo reporting for TV360 News, Abuja.